I'm here.
We live. What's happening, world? Happy Friday. Welcome to another episode of Cognac Confessionals. I'm your host, Deshaun, here at Where Media Meets Studios in conjunction with VJ TV, History in the Making Entertainment, Pharaoh Films, Keep It Cloudy Productions, here in East Oakland. Uh, got a good show for y'all tonight. Hope everybody's safe and doing well. It's
Y'all not, we don't care.
lovely.
No, we do.
Yeah,
We care about folks.
we care about folks. We care about your livelihood. We want to see you make it.
We care about folks all day.
Got a couple of good brothers with me tonight. Let them introduce themselves.
I'm gonna let the guests go first.
My extreme guests.
Peace and blessing. Peace. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man.
Yes.
My name is Big C
Yes.
Aug. I do a lot of stuff. I'm a community activist, man.
Right.
I'm a father,
There you
man.
That's right.
First.
Man first.
And yeah, man, we pushing the line. Old school, next to kin, group member. We had an album in '94 called Next to Kin, and we're gonna bring that back for a 25-year anniversary.
What's the name of the group?
Next to Kin.
Next to
Next
Kin.
to
I
Kin.
know that group.
Yeah, Next to Kin. Ghetto
That's what's
Poetry.
up.
We had an album called Ghetto Poetry. A lot of stuff happened.
Did y'all have a video?
No, we didn't have a video.
Really? I know that group, bro. Next to Kin.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
And also, I did a lot of social service work in the community. So, that's one of the things that motivate us to do the podcast is
Right.
to try to bring my vision into fruition.
That's what's up. That's what's up. We here trying to network, and of course, I got my my producer, my partner, as always, introduce.
No, you got to get it right. I'm his producer and his cousin. Because when you say
Yeah.
partner,
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
ain't
that's
different
cause that's
kind of
family, it's
connection.
blood.
Yeah,
Blood is
you know
thick
what
in the
I'm saying?
mud.
Yeah, just like making sure that It's like, oh, that's his life partner. That's so.
Oh yeah. I know you the alphabet people. No, man.
No,
We won't swing no ways.
Just
no.
because.
I like chicks.
This is me familiar,
Yeah, familiaso.
You gotta be clear with that, man.
No, you really do now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
when your kids
Say,
come,
that's your partner, man. Huh?
your kids come home with a picture of a rainbow. Look what I drew. He like, we got to
Fuck
talk
about
about
that.
it. No,
You going to another school.
Yeah. Okay, you transferring. What you doing?
my son got pride.
Oh, you-
I couldn't even tell.
Yeah.
Like, nah, bruh.
Hey
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
hey, to each his own, man.
Good
I
school.
wouldn't
Oh,
know
yeah,
if it
I
was
don't
in
hate-
the bedroom, so
Yeah,
you know,
you do what you do.
My
but,
business.
Yeah.
ain't none of my business.
Yeah,
like
Eddie Murphy
chicks.
had a joke about that. He said, what you gonna do? I'm gonna suck dick. Okay, you do that, man.
I'm gonna go home.
Don't go.
I like
Come
him.
this way. We're good. We're good.
Baby got in trouble, big trouble, man. He barely, he said
Oh.
it was unnecessary what he said.
Yeah, but they try to cancel everybody.
But you got to be careful when you messing with them
It's
folks.
two groups you
because,
can't talk about.
We won't gather around. We won't gather together for nothing.
Nah.
Right.
They got, that's all they do is cheerlead and organize. And pump it. So,
Man.
let
Hey,
them
I heard
know.
this comedian, old boy, said, he said, man, like, we've been trying to get rid of the word nigga for years. He said, call somebody gay a nigga, it'd be gone in a week.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they cancel everything.
Over.
Yeah.
So
That's not our topic of conversation.
So, but yeah, no, yeah, we here to indulge in the life and business ventures or whatnot of my fellow dub is Big C. So, sir, tell people where they can find you on social media.
Well, you can find me at Amir Hassan, Big C on YouTube, where I do a weekly rant.
Yeah, I tunes in.
You heard him, man. You say a weekly rant.
Yeah, I tunes in.
What transpired throughout the week in the kingdom of niggatry.
Niggatry.
You said a weekly rant, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
gotta
man,
let it go.
I mean, you got the conscious community. YouTube is fun.
Yeah.
You got a lot of characters on there. So I do that, and then also Facebook, Amir Hassan on Facebook.
Right.
Instagram, Amir Hassan _25th, King Amir _25th on Instagram.
Right.
And also, we got townvision.com.
There you go.
It's a website. we got a podcast like this, and we try to we try to we try to highlight what's bright in the hood and what's good in the hood. You know, we try to edify our people in our community.
That's what's
You
up.
know, and that's townvision.com. So
So make sure y'all check that out, townvision.com. So with Town Vision, what, pardon me, excuse that, I had better out than in. What brought you to create Town Vision podcast?
well, I was on Facebook looking through some groups, looked through the Dubs group particularly,
Murders.
and I seen my guy Aldro Media.
Yeah,
Justin.
Aldro, 23rd only.
Yeah, Aldro. He had posted a post like he wanted to talk to some people about some stuff. And I always, I wrote a book before, and I understand how unique the '80s and the '70s and growing up in our era was. It
It was some good
was
shit.
unbelievable.
It was lovely.
So it's some way I wanna express that in some way, but if you wasn't there, it's hard to express it. So you gotta be really creative to put people in those times when the task,
Hey,
you know.
you really had to be outside. You couldn't Google it.
Rolling, and,
Like,
you
you
know,
know,
the people
Like
was
track star and them
around.
coming after you.
Oh, man, they looking at you on the roof, and
Mhm.
it's just, it was another time in another place. And,
Yeah.
it was school for us. So I want to also talk about the harm that happened to our community because it was a form of warfare on us
Yes.
too.
Definitely.
So I also want to highlight a lot of good stories that in our community, because I was like, man, niggas ain't shit, man. We gonna get our stuff together. I was one of them complaining, So when I start complaining, I hold myself to truth.
Yeah.
I have to look on the other side, and I start seeing a lot of positive and great things, even in my friends, which I wasn't looking at 1st. So I said, man, well, let me highlight this because we need this. I believe self-esteem, know thyself. When you're self-esteem, and you know who you are, and you know your importance and your role in life, you function better. And that's by us functioning better, by this household functioning better, by this household functioning better, by this household, our community starts to function a little better.
Yeah.
And that's the medicine that I believe. So I found that to be my calling in life.
That's what's up.
That's what I'm gonna do until I get out of here.
It's a beautiful thing to find your purpose and your passion and push it. And I think a lot of people on the surface don't dig and figure out what their purpose is. A lot of people just go with the flow and just deal with the ebbs and flows of life and just be like, for do. But that's dope. Dope as fuck.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I believe it's up to us as men to lead the way. And coming up in that era, we were brave, man. We heard the stories of Toussaint Louverture. We heard the stories of P.D.P. Newton. We heard the stories of Nat Turner,
Yes.
of Denmark Vesey, and we heard the stories of the soldiers who fought in racism and wars for us. So I wanted to be an extension of that, and I know that warfare is not always physical.
Right.
So,
Psychological warfare is
Yeah,
a multi-trillion-dollar industry.
right. So that's why you got a lot of people thinking they something that they're not, and they really adamant that I am this. Well, I could say I'm a millionaire and I'm not. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got these rappers promoting this image of gangsterism,
Right.
which is biggest form of weakness. When you kill, it's cannibalism. You're killing yourself.
Right.
So as a rapper, I used to rap, and what we talked about some hardcore political
That's
stuff.
what I wanted to get at. What's the name of your group?
Next to Kin.
Next to Kin.
Next to Kin, and we put out an album in '94. Me and my brother Zoda Roaster, Zoe still be producing and promoting. He got a studio on International and a clothing store and a shoe store on International.
Yeah, shout out to Hostile Takeover.
Yeah, Hostile Takeover and Bigfoot. That's my brother Zoe.
That's brother Zoe.
And he got a studio up in there too. And
yeah, we got to get Zoe on too.
Yeah, I got my nephews Enzo and Longshot Lonzo. They raw as hell, you know. So
that's what's up.
we still mess with the music, man, and we, you know, our music was classic. You know, it was classic, real. You know, the beginning of the gangster movement, we used to call it reality rap. You know what I'm saying? So we just was talking about what we was doing.
Yeah, what you was doing and what you was saying. Exactly.
We had bundles in our pockets and guns and you know, just like these youngsters now. But we had a little bit more sense, a little bit more organization.
Yeah.
You know?
What year did your group come out?
1994.
How was the music scene back? Because I was a music television producer. You know what I mean? I worked for Soul Beat
Club.
back in the day.
Yeah.
But
Shout out to Chuck.
Yeah, you understand. But what was the music scene back in '94? Because you were talking about the old school, and we had just left the '80s, and the '80s, you know, it came from, you know, all of the New York to LA.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
And then like the 90s.
LA Dream Team started coming out.
Right.
Jimmy Spicer started coming out. You know, because Dollar Bill was like one of the biggest songs.
Dollar Bill, that was the early '80s, like
Right.
81, 82. Dollar Bill, Jimmy Spicer. You had
Bobby
Smurf Beat.
Yeah, right.
Head Shoulders. You had Spoonie G. You know, you had all the O's, Melly Mel, them all that. Melly Mel was the hardest rapper to me back then.
Period. And they had some songs that they don't even play. Like they had, they called it Super Rhyming.
Yeah, Super Rhyme.
With the Super Fine. I'm not Super. Well, they had Super Rhyming with Jimmy Spicer, but then also the Furious Five had a song called Super Rhyming.
Okay.
And they were all spitting, like seriously spitting.
Yeah, that's a New York.
Yeah,
Mecca
they was just like
cipher.
they was like really.
Well, we used to
spitting.
hear those songs, man, on the 40. We used to be on the bus, and you be on the bus to have,
Walkman, the Sony Walkman.
No,
with
we
the big
had
ass
no
styrofoam.
Walkman. I'm talking about 80, 79, 80, 81. You have niggas had their perms and them Shirleys. And they be on the bus with a toothpick in their mouth, trying to fandangle. Somebody talk to your sister. But they, you know, Oakland was cold back then, and somebody had a radio. And that's when you hear all that beat.
Back of the bus.
So you hear Too Short.
The Bubble Bunch.
If you couldn't, you had to be live to sit in the back of the bus.
Yeah.
You had to be brave.
Sit in the back of the bus, yeah, because that's where the party was.
Yeah,
or you get your ass whooped like,
go
yep.
make your booty bleed.
Ain't nobody saying nothing to you.
Yeah.
Taking up space.
But when you came out like in '94, what was the music scene like for y'all then?
Back then, man, 3 Times was coming. I remember my partner Terry Austin. We used to hang out. That's my best friend since 2nd grade, and we used to be riding. And he knew Chris Hicks, so we had the demo of the Loonies. I got 5 on it. So we was comparing these rap 3 Times.
But before they was the Loonies, what was their name? Was they 2 for the Money?
No. 2 for the Money was with Master P. That's Crooked Eye. Yes,
Okay.
very
Master
sure.
P them was making his move, doing his things. You had
You said 2 for the Money?
Yeah, 2 for the
2
Money.
for the Money was Biaggi. My bad, Murders.
Was that Biaggi?
Yeah,
Okay.
2 for the Money was Biaggi and his partner from Richmond.
Okay.
you had 2. You had San Francisco brothers, Sean T. Them from Palo
Sean T,
Alto.
that's fam.
You had
Sean
Yeah,
T,
Forte,
Chump.
you
Man,
had,
we had totally
UNC,
yeah, but them
Supermax and Rap. That was all
boys,
Frisco.
Females Phone.
Frisco, what's the boys?
Cool Nut, you had RBL, you had
RBL
San
was
Quinn.
rocking back then.
Oh, hell yeah.
RBL
Shout out
was
to Black
rocking.
C. Rest in peace to Mr. C and Hitman.
Yeah, RBL. You had the J Dub soundtrack. You had some creative stuff coming, man. So when we was coming, our momentum was I was an old school rapper. I started rapping in like after Scarface, the movie came on, I wrote a rap about it, and that's when I first started rapping. I went and seen about 11 times, so.
Hey, if you haven't seen Scarface a minimum of 11 times, kids.
Yeah, I thought when it first came out, I went to
Real
see it
talk.
every day for 2
You
weeks.
gotta watch that
That's
shit.
when we used to go back to the movies to see it again,
Right.
especially on matinee. How much
Yeah,
matinee?
yeah.
$1.50.
4-star
Let's
theater.
go see Scarface. There it is.
Yeah. So yeah, man, it was hot, man, and we had a lot of talent coming from the Bay, you know.
Always.
So it was heated, man. You know.
Because
Yeah,
Giant
it was
Records came up
gas.
and
It was
swooped up
gas
everybody.
coming out the
Yeah.
bay.
And then Scary them and
Oh, yeah,
Pete them
Scary.
came with Cell Block and
Oh yeah, cell block
Ooh.
compilations. You had the or they had the Spread Your Hustle compilation. They had hella fire. Then Master P was doing his West Coast Bad Boys shit, and that had fire on it. You had
We can't forget the high road though.
High Road, come on,
High
High
Road was
Kings,
like,
first ballot Hall of Famers.
I'm gonna tell you one compilation
Black
we was
Delicious
listening to, because we was grinding really tough. We was listening to the Crips and Blood compilation.
Yeah,
shit
that
was
Crips and
rocking.
Blood was dope.
You know,
I remember that.
my cousin them used to listen to DOS Effects.
Yeah,
And they used to really, they threw my damn. But you know, I always listen to old music, man, even to this day. So I used to have all the OJs and the Delphonics.
Oh yeah, I got all. Yeah,
and the
you gotta have
Spinners and
that.
all that. So my
have
cousins,
that.
I had music in my car, so I'm listening. I come up playing Marvin. You so lovable, and my cousin looks at me like this, so he go throw my motherfucking Marvin Gaye away and put this damn Das Effects in the thing. So I hated
Yeah. Oh, my little brother Duck, what's up, nigga?
Okay, this-
Duck watching. What's up, bruh?
when you talking about Marvin Gaye, one thing I like about
Duck,
Dr. Dre,
Duck.
one thing I like about Dr. Dre is that the cat used to sample classics. Like when he had that Compton, he got that.
That
from,
was the silver.
That was the Silvers, yeah.
Thank you. You know what I'm saying? That was misdemeanor.
Yeah, misdemeanor.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Dude, that was the Silvers. Y'all don't understand.
I got
Man,
that song.
it's a
That
genius
song
when
is
you
on
do
my
that.
Yeah, I got that.
And that.
So we wanted that when
That was
came out,
what was that
I wanna
song?
do- I wanna do something for you.
wanna do something. Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah.
The man was a genius when he brought back that, man.
Yeah, that whole album was crazy. When I first heard that album, it was like,
It was
oh
sick.
my goodness.
Yeah, he was sick.
It makes you want to just be a gangster.
Real talk. Because you listen to it, it's like, it's ride music. So if you
Right.
play that when you ride, you be like, I got to get into something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that psychological.
Yeah, so it was nice back then, man. You know, and it was a whole different world. So we just didn't have a clue. We didn't know what we was doing.
Yeah, we was products of our environment.
Right. Yeah, my producer was you know John Easton, Big John. Big John. We used to sit up there. We used to hustle together on this brick wall. And we should listen to Just Ice and
You said Just Ice?
Just Ice and Mantronics and all that
Just
shit.
Girls a
And I used
Slut.
to rap
Yeah.
to Get Stupid Fresh. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
I used to freestyle all day. I'm rapping while we grinding. You know what I'm saying? We drinking, so we lit. And Big J was like, "Big C, I'm gonna produce you, man, when I get a chance." And Big J got his money together and he produced us. And the only thing that messed it up is we went to jail.
Right.
We went to jail for my brother went to jail first for some crazy shit. They said he shot at the police, and then
We need to see the receipts. We need to see the video evidence.
right, and then I went to jail on my birthday. Loaded, I had a big ass sack in my pants.
He
and
said loaded.
I'm serving in front of the stove.
Keep it real.
They're watching me across the street for about 30 minutes, and they pull up on me, and they like, "You want us to get it, or you gonna get it?" Come on, bailed out, and I had to fight that case, but you know, I ended up going to jail anyway, and we couldn't do nothing. So we was in Source magazine. I think we got like 3 stores in my partner Manny Bo.
Yeah,
We was
Manny. Shout out to Manny.
Yeah, we was Manny Bo. We was both in in San Quentin in reception, and Manny Bo had the magazine. He let me read the magazine, gave me the magazine, and I was like, damn. So, you know, man, we did some shows. We ripped some shit up. I got some footage. If I bring this footage up, man, I got Daymond, MT, Charlie O. I got hell of people. I got everybody in that. I think D-Dub is on there. We was all in Vallejo at this place called the Overpass, and I was performing with Camiel. And man, we ripped that place apart. But I got my uncle videotaped everybody. I just can't get that damn. It's a VCR tape that I'm trying to put it into
Convert it.
Get it converted. Be some great historical footage from back in the day, man.
That's timeless. That shit is timeless.
So so with that, man, my brother's still been doing music, but I stopped doing music in 2005. Once again, I was in prison. And my cousin Jimani got killed in the studio in West Oakland.
I remember Cuzzo.
And
rest in peace.
Jimani was like, you know, I really didn't like that, so I was like, fuck rap music, you know what I'm saying? And I stopped rapping, but because I gave Money some songs. He had made some songs that I wrote, and he had got that studio for us. He had our picture up in there, our poster up in there, and he's like, see, I got a studio. All you gotta do is come on. I wrote some shit for him, you know, and
Another life cut short.
Yeah, so
by these cold streets.
Yeah, so man, you know, I started rapping, but my brother, he still was at it. Zoe put out Squeeze on him. He had a video for Squeeze on him.
I need Zoe on the show.
Yeah, he's gonna come up here. Yeah, but he working.
Yeah, he got that stuff. I understand being a business owner.
Yeah.
So when did you start getting into like your community work, or what prompted you to get into the community? Like,
well, you know, being a person that on the block, that ran the hood, the block, you know what I'm saying? I was already the case manager on the streets.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? So if you fucking over people, you got to go. You got to clean up the streets. Every day I'm paying people to clean the street up so we don't get no flack from the neighbors.
Yes.
Keeping the temperature down on the streets, making sure ain't nobody getting killed. Make sure you coming up with your money, you ain't over here just grinding, spinning your wheels. Make sure the youngsters going to school. So I was already doing that on the block.
You was on cats' helmets about going to class and going to school and shit.
Yeah,
I know that. I know that.
Yeah, and they tell me, man, you just want to get all the money. Nah, man, it's you wasting your life thinking that you gonna stack enough money here doing this to take care of you for the rest of your life. This is for you. Why, you know, while it's school time, go to school. You can always come out here after 3 o'clock and make $1,000 and then go to sleep.
We had $1 million
go
spots
back to school. Right.
We really had $1 million spots.
Right. You know, they just get them niggas 15 years old buying birds.
Motherfuckers was doing shit in the 90s that motherfuckers talking about today and they be lying about. But motherfuckers in my era, I grew up under, was doing big shit then.
Yeah.
And I don't need no videotape or nothing, but I got some.
So me doing that, right? When I went to prison, when Money got killed, that was the last time I went to prison. 2005, I got paroled, and I see myself doing intensive rehabilitation. You know what I'm saying? I rehabilitated myself. I read damn near 1,000 books, and was honest to myself, and did I did a lot of self-care and self introspection and all kind of shit. So I researched what kind of jobs I could get when I get home, because my goal was not to go back to jail again and get captured behind enemy lines with these devils that I hate. You know, I mean, I got to deal with these motherfuckers because I didn't put myself in the line of fire and they caught me.
Right.
So I don't want to get in that position no more. So I had to change how I live. So my first job was I looked for a lot of jobs. I went crazy looking for jobs. You know, you go mad, you give up, you relapse, you do all kinds of shit in that job search. But you know, I had some support from some good people, man. So I ended up working for a place called Cal Pep, and that was my first, actually, my first job when I was grown. So Cal Pep was a California Prevention and Education Project was a nonprofit, and they work with people with HIV and AIDS, HIV prevention, and I understood that they wouldn't check your background. I mean, they would do it. They check your background, but my background wouldn't prevent me from working there. It would be a plus. So I started working there. First, I was working around these people. I'm a street dude. I'm reformed somewhat. I didn't embrace Islam. Islam softens your heart. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not no dummy. I know how to deal with people. You know what I'm saying? And I'm secure with who I am.
Yes.
So I was put around some situations that I had to adjust. You know what I'm saying? And I did so honorably, and I grew in that situation. So I grew to be a great case manager and a great social service provider in that field. And I used the tools that I learned on the streets. Also, I used the tools that I already had that was authentically in me from grandma.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's where AFNF come from, grandma house. So a lot of people think it's a game, but that's like, you come up in here, we got you.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's just authentic shit, man. And when you study yourself and you want to be a man and you understand what a man is, I'm just following that recipe and that blueprint to manhood, doing what I'm supposed to do. You know?
That's what's up. And the thing I will say, because we from the murders, and one thing I will say is the Dubs. If you don't know what the Dubs is, you live under a fucking rock. But the era I grew up in, because I grew up under y'all and all that, and but the tools that was given to you growing up in that area, you had all the blocks and the Dubs, but the instrumental tools that you were given, because like you said, on our block, it was, we out there doing hyphy shit before hyphy was even a fucking term and shit, but you kept the block good. You went and took your neighbor's garbage and swept up in front of. If we out there too drunk off the gold label Remy, not the red label Remy you niggas drinking today. We talking about the original gold label Remy. I still get that shit, but niggas out there and you in the bottle bust somebody. You swept that shit up and you put it up. You didn't leave that shit in front of your neighbor's house. We had rules, line, etiquette, like you said. If you can run a block, you can run a business.
Right. Yeah, man. I swear to God, man. Because my aunties, my uncles, and I got friends from elementary that's don't crack. It's been my folks all right now. If they need me, I got them
all day.
You know what I'm saying?
Same.
So they report to Big C, what you need me to do. Clean up the street first. That's the first thing. You ain't got no money. I'm gonna break you off for some money and some product. Clean up the street first. That's the first thing we do. So now we got a reason to be out here standing in the street. We cleaning up.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's rolling though in the process,
Exactly.
and they might find some bundles in the cubby holes and stuff like that. So which they always did. They found bundles of money.
An old school Dorito bag.
I remember these Chinese kids, man, found 3 ounces, right?
Oh.
And man, they came and told me, because I used to buy all the kids lunch and I give them all dollars and stuff like that. And they came and told me, Big C, look what we found. It's 3 zips, right? 3 zips was about $700 back then, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm
Not
like,
that I know when you.
so I'm not, people say I was a bully.
Yeah.
If I was a bully, I'd have just snatched them zips from them little kids.
Right.
But I asked them, I said, what y'all want for?
Right.
And they gave them a choice. And they said, man, we want some fish from the
Lost
From the,
Farms.
no.
Oh, no.
They want some goddamn fish to put in the aquarium.
Yeah.
I said, how many fish y'all want?
Let's go.
I said, we want about 5
Oh,
or
from
6
Connie's?
fish. Yeah, from
Connie's on 38th. Connie was on
No,
38th.
I don't think that was open then. I'm not sure.
No, Connie's was open there.
You talking about the Hot Boys?
They had a Soul Beat commercial. They was open.
Okay, so anyway, the kids, they found the stuff, and I bought them some fish, man, and
There it is.
that fish cost about $20, man, $30. And I always look out for the kids, but
You got to.
yeah, let me get them 3 zips.
You get that, man. I'm gonna need that from up off you. You gonna have to come up off that, young man.
So yeah, it was wild out there, man. But it was been many times I done went to get my bundle, man. G bundles. I'm talking about big, fat, solid 25s. And it's gone.
Yeah.
I got one question for you before I bring my man Pharaoh in, because Pharaoh's from Oakland. I'm from the city.
Yeah.
So y'all in common.
Yeah, we
I know what y'all talking
Nah,
about.
man, I live in
But-
person, man. The earth
No,
is
what
my
I'm saying
friend.
though is that I like the memories that y'all have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the thing. One thing. What do you think is wrong with like the kids now? Because we don't really have cats like you no more. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And some of the cats that are successful, they're like, okay, I'm successful now.
I don't fuck with them.
I don't need to deal with them cats because one of these little niggas might turn on me,
Right.
and it's a whole
And
different
he's
story.
right.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm
It's
saying?
a double-edged sword.
And you know how
Right.
OGs are. We like this. Look, man, I might have to shoot that. So
Yeah,
I'm going to
I
do my
ain't got
thing.
time to argue with no little
Exactly.
kids.
So what do you think is the problem with these little kids right now, man? You got cats that are committing like heinous crimes at 17 years old because they don't understand the penalty is like, bruh, if you do this, you might be locked up for 20 years, and they don't get that because they think
They don't
their
care.
mentality is like
They
they're not
can't
going to
even
get
see
caught
that.
or they're going to get away with it.
Right. Or they can't even see that far.
They can't even see that
Exactly.
far.
Right. It was, you know what the sad thing about it is we was just like them. It was luck. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I was 12 years old with we had brass knuckles and with the little knives, pocket knives.
I remember motherfuckers
we
had
were
ninja
riding.
stars.
Blades.
You
We
get
was
ninja
handling
stars
the
back
pole.
then. I was at Garfield with ninja stars.
Then we had, we started shooting. So we was, I talk about them youngsters, but we was the same fucking way, man. So, but
What was the
Yeah,
difference?
we had
But
some teachings.
it was a difference though. We had grandmamas and we had some adults that we didn't want grandma to catch us out of pocket like that.
Right.
And we didn't want to offend grandma's house, and we didn't want mama. And we had my mama, she didn't use drugs, and she wasn't into that type of life. So I did have some people that I could look to, but it didn't look attractive over there. I liked it what my Uncle Jack them was doing. They robbed banks. They went to prison before. You know what I'm saying?
They robbed banks.
I remember my other uncle was the police, and he came and got my uncle's the count for murder. So we had to get up under the bed on 109th. The helicopter above the apartments, and my Uncle Weeks is coming to get Uncle Count. Eldridge for the murder, and he told us to step under the bed. So these niggas was going to jail all the time. So we thought they was cool, and Uncle Earl used to be clean. He had 2 wives,
You got the
and
image.
that nigga he looked like he was smoother than Max Julian to us. You know what I'm saying? And he had the Cadillacs, and my Uncle Larry, he shot my mama manager one time. She was arguing over the parking space. Uncle shot him in the stomach and shit. We was like, this gangster's cool.
Right.
So we was ruined,
We
man.
didn't know which house.
Well, right now, I'm bringing my boy Pharaoh because Pharaoh, he's gonna get more content. Because Pharaoh is also in the music industry, and Pharaoh, my boy, was next to kin.
Next time
Yeah.
you get a foot.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm bringing. No, you sit there, bro.
You stay where you at.
You say where you at, man.
I'm gonna let
Next
him
to
get
kin.
around me.
Next to kin, that's right, because we both of size.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We like to welcome
Man.
my co-host,
Hey, what's
the
up,
phenomenal
y'all?
Pharaoh Powell.
And one thing I want to add on to what they're saying, the difference between the youngsters now and then is I remember being places and cats got on our helmet for being out of pocket.
Right.
But sometimes, I mean, one time these one cats was gonna do something to us, and somebody said, "Man, they schoolboys, man. You ain't got no props to doing nothing to them." And they left us alone. Youngsters nowadays wouldn't have that code.
Right. We do.
Because I got a lot of friends whose they kids is school kids. And people done down to him and be like, man, why would somebody want to kill him? So the main difference I can see between back in the days, it was a little bit more gangsters going against gangsters. Now it's cats that will kill cats that ain't in
But a
it.
lot of these niggas that's killing is really suckers. You know what I'm saying? And
A coward can
Because it's
kill
pure
anybody.
fear.
what I've seen is anybody can pull the trigger.
Right.
You know, it takes some real strength to make a decision. Is this the pull the trigger situation? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you could be I mean, a lot of times the dudes is tripping. You know what I'm saying? You shooting girls, you shooting you robbing people, and robbery, murder is a death penalty case. And what are you taking their purse? Do you even know, is it 100 million in that purse? Because weigh that against that death penalty and that $40 you got in that purse.
Right. You taking somebody's EBT card and now you should go.
Like I just seen a little video in Chinatown where these cats tried to roll up on some people. This is last week. It was all on the internet. And as they went to go try to strip the purse, another cat tried to fight them.
Oh, and they shot him.
And they shot dude. They shot dude, took the purse, and all I could think about is that, man, it probably wasn't nothing in that purse, and y'all just really, and they all on video,
somebody.
like y'all really just threw it away.
But it's a common thing amongst the hood. They think the Chinese keep all their money on them,
And the mattress, they don't trust banks and the folklore and
did you see? You go to the bank and they own these stores and they take it in big things at once, and the youngster see that he like, oh, that's all hundreds. And wait outside and hit her upside the head when she come outside.
But next to Ken,
But they ain't got no hustle though. See, we used to pump gas and sell pigeons, breed pigeons, and we had hustle, man. We was
But that's one
entrepreneurs.
of the things,
We were
like
young
you were saying about
entrepreneurs.
your
We had
uncles.
etiquette.
My uncles were shooters, but they also had jobs.
Yeah.
They'll just come home
Never had no job.
they'll just come home from working, get the drinking or something, and then the pistols come out, and they'll be down, all the little clubs, and they were just thorough, but they also was about their money. But then their kids all just end up just being shooters and dope fiends.
The real G's remain silent like the G in lasagna.
But I can't.
You kept the class about yourself, and like I said, from my dad, my OGs, the homies I grew up in the Dubs, my family in Palo Alto, Menlo. I grew up around some real thorough motherfuckers.
Yes.
And I got taught some shit young, elementary school. I was given some gems. And don't get me wrong, you choose to do wrong, but like you said, you got big mama, grandmas, aunties, uncles, mamas, daddies, if you was blessed to have them in your life, uncles, brothers, sisters who were older, maybe cousins. We always was teaching. There was always somebody somewhere in your family back then who was teaching you something.
Yeah, I had a lot of that too.
You had that somewhere.
Yeah.
I didn't
That
have no
has been
pops, but I
lost.
damn sure had a lot of male influence.
Yeah.
The seed was planted.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
It was mouth to ear.
But let me tell you this, all that gangster shit, shooting shit, all that rah-rah, a lot of these niggas be scared, hurt, and they feel they need some help. They wanted a hug.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But they don't want it, they're embarrassed to say it. But let me tell you, the best thing that I did and the strongest shit that I ever did in all them years, 20 years, in the streets, I'm talking about not on the outside of the streets, right in the middle of that shit, the best thing I did was refrain myself. That was where all the strength was, you know what I'm saying? Because just notice a lot of our folks got killed by their friends, right?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
That's when we went from the Twomps to the Murder Doves.
Right. So I was the type of person that, right, with me, I had to be right and I had to be defending myself if I was ever to hurt somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like that much. Now, I'll beat your ass for nothing. But,
Knuckle
but
up.
to kill you, I had to be right or I had to be defending myself.
Right.
Because that's a big step. A lot of people don't have that conscience to do that.
Right.
So it was a couple of times where people tried to do something to me. And I understood they were scared of me. You know what I'm saying? And it was a misunderstanding. And for a minute, I was trying to do something to them. But after I held myself to that truth, and I understood that they was really scared. And
well, they had the right to be scared.
Yeah,
Y'all name was pretty. Y'all name was pretty thorough.
right. But I opened
It was one of them
up.
cases.
But
I'm pretty sure no people
I
knew
had
you
beat them up.
and had heard legendary things about you than you knew them.
Yeah, but I beat them up for nothing. I was drunk and just came home from prison, and they tried to jump out the bushes on me and gun me down, but the guns jammed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I forgave them. You know what I'm saying?
I was big of you.
I forgave
Did you
them.
forgive him immediately, or did
No,
it take you
that's
some
just
time?
what I'm saying. I was riding around. We rode up on the side of each other. I had a Tech 22, and he had some. I think somebody else had shot him, and we rode up on each other. And I was like, "What's up, nigga?" He said, "I said, man, you tried to kill me, nigga." He said, "Man, he said, I apologize, Big C." No, he said the way he said, he didn't say I apologize immediately. He was like, "Man, you was tripping, Big C," and I was like, "Man, you right. I apologize."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was tripping.
bigger
for
person
put my
understand
hands on you like that. I shouldn't have put my hands on you. And he said, "Man, I apologize too." And he was the man though. He had a lot of dope. So I was like, "Man, let me get some shit." And he gave me a couple extra zips. And after that, man, we was like this. The last time I seen him, he was on my shoulder like this. We was at Mexicali Rose, and we was drinking hella Flaming Bulls.
Oh yeah, that's the spot. The Flaming Bull. Yeah, a whole row of the table at the bar. Flaming Bull. Hey, let's do it.
And that's why I changed my life, because in that situation,
That's a teachable moment.
It was
a teachable
creative,
moment.
man. And I most niggas wouldn't have forgave him.
Now, one night, my boy Big Point, rest in peace, came to me and said, "Hey, let's go on down there to Jeffrey's." And he was lagging. I was lagging. When he pulled up to pick me up, I was lagging. And I said, "Blood, I'll just meet you up there." Well, then he calls me and says, "No need to come up there, man. Some major shit just went down." So the next day in the paper, we see next to kin, all in the paper. It was in the Tribune.
What happened?
Some shit went down at Jeffrey's. I didn't know if you wanted to touch on it. I just would say, like, that's what I remember hearing. That was the last I had heard of the name of the group.
No, I don't think.
It's fun.
Look, we had some shows in San Francisco where
I know there's like some shootout shit happened out there.
I don't know.
And then it was in the Tribune.
and they said they couldn't have
They
seen
had no
it.
video evidence.
For one, let me tell you, man,
They were just trying to test
they
your name.
probably that's probably a different story or something. Because
Now, who all was with the
What
members
year
of
was
next to kin?
it was me, my brother Zoe Rosa,
So,
and it was
Yeah, he ended.
me and
I mean,
Zoe.
what?
Oh, you talking about
Right.
you
But I
talking
don't know
about
if you were going
Cherise.
to. Yeah, you know
You
what?
talking about
You know what?
Cherise.
It was Jeffrey's first.
No, you talking about Cherise. Cherise
Yeah,
was
but-
on the other side of the freeway.
Yeah, but the building was Jeffrey's at first. Then Jeffrey moved to where he is now, and then
Okay.
Cherie took the
Okay,
building over.
okay.
That's why I said Jeffrey's, because
Okay.
that was it was Jeffrey's building.
Okay, yeah, man.
I mean, it wasn't his building, but where he moved to where he
started.
is today, that's where he was, right across from where Everett Jones was.
Yeah.
But it had
You
just,
right.
yeah, it had just
That's
changed.
Cherise.
Yeah, it was Cherie's, but yeah, so I said Jeffrey, but it was originally
Yeah, you
Jeffrey's.
totally right. I was like, because I'm like, man.
Yeah.
But you absolutely right.
But yeah, literally,
That
I was still at the
some
house getting
crazy
dressed.
Shit.
And my boy called me and said, "Ain't no need to come down here, man, because, man, this
Let me tell
major
you how
shit
messed
went
up it
on."
used to be with us, man. We were so hard-headed. And we beat up about 10, 15 people. Me and Zoe.
You talking about that same night?
This
Or,
is like about 2 weeks before that.
at the same spot?
About 3 weeks. The same spot. We somebody was in there. You know, we used to be rowdy, man. Somebody was talking to one of my folks bad while we was in the restroom, and we was trying to stop some shit. And the brother just he just went off and said some crazy shit to us, and we beat his ass in the bathroom.
He must have been full of that firewater
so
because
we
a lot
throw him
of
out the
cats was trying to
bathroom.
press
Yeah,
no
we throw him out the
issues with y'all.
bathroom.
A lot of cats were trying to press no issues with y'all.
Yeah, it was like
So he must have
three
been full
of
of
them.
that firewater.
It was three of them in the bathroom. We 3 on 3 in the bathroom. Then we threw them out the bathroom. They had a crew of people started rushing the bathroom, and we was knocking all them niggas out. You know what I'm saying? I think my partner Will Lust was up there. Will knocked a couple people out.
If any of y'all don't remember,
Yeah, so
and y'all don't remember,
but now-
Sharice used to really crack.
Yeah, so after that, I guess my brother used to be, what we used to be doing the Next to Kin album, and we was moving, and it was a movement, and he used to be with a lot of these guys from the pen, and the High Lips and all them, man, and they was doing a lot of shit, they was like our security. We was gonna make.
And
them
shout
our
out to
security
Leroy.
for Next to Kin. So if Next to Kin,
It's Hot Lips, Leroy. There was
who?
Leroy Coleman.
Oh,
and all
Leroy
them.
Coleman. I
Shout
just
out-
seen a picture of Leroy
Yeah,
too,
shout
man.
out to all them cats.
Yes, Lil Leroy, High Lips, and Tony Yoni, and all them brothers, man. You know, R.I.P. to all the people.
Tony only might come home next year.
Yeah,
He got action. He got action coming on.
Lost ones, and
yeah.
hopefully all
Because
the
they've been
ones that's
denying
in
him,
come out,
but now
And
Mike
they
got
gonna
a
let
date.
everybody come home eventually if you play your hand right.
Yeah.
God damn, it's
Please
been damn
don't
near
come
30
out
years.
I
tearing
mean,
up
shit,
shit.
you gonna have to do something.
It's been damn near 30 years,
You know,
though.
It's a lot of brothers that did. My uncle did 32. You
Yeah.
know, Lil D just did 28.
Yeah.
Black did about
He was
20.
there,
he
he was
was
there
last
last night. Yeah, we was
was
chilling
with
with
D
him
last
last night.
night.
Yeah, he came to the
No,
movie
we was
premiere
there
last night.
at the movie premiere for Vampire in Oakland last night.
Was that funny?
It was cool. It's Pharaoh's movie. We was
Yeah,
there
but
last night.
That's your movie?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but Tony Carter, shout out to him. He's got real action that coming home next year. I think he's been down since '94.
Yeah.
So that's 27 years. So he got real action that coming home, and he still got all his right mind
Yeah.
and his shave. You know, because sometimes cats, when you start doing that level of years, you get so where you might not even want to come home because it's kind of. I mean, of course you want to come home, but you know what I'm saying.
You're not the same person.
Exactly, you know, and
mental
it's,
health is real out here.
Right.
and then another thing, when you go hit them yards and you got that type of, because don't get me wrong, Tony only was a
shit.
beast out here.
Right.
So sometimes when you hit them yards and you got a certain level of reputation, you damn near got to go on some gladiator shit for the first years that you there. You know.
You gotta establish your line, and and it's a beast. It's a savage world, that life.
And then they want you to come home and work at Foot Locker or something. Or somebody step on your shoe
But-
and say,
but-
"Watch out, partner."
But sometimes, I got folks up in there, man. They just regular people. They only thing that you gonna defend yourself. You're not gonna let nothing go.
Right.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
ain't gonna kill nothing, but I ain't gonna let nothing die.
Yeah. And some people will kill. You know what I'm saying? Some situations you got to be ready to kill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially when
I
you're
had
on higher
7
level
days.
yards.
I had 7 days to come home. I was on a ranch, but we didn't have no fences around, nothing in San Quentin. And 3 in the morning, the Mexicans came through stabbing my partners, and we laid in the bunk. We in the bunks. We're in the like the military.
Yeah.
So we're in there, and they just run through
I know
stabbing
military.
motherfuckers. So we come outside. I got 7 days to go home, man. You think I'm gonna go just ball up, man? These motherfuckers come through stabbing. That made me so mad. We instantly went at it. You know, it was like 100 against 100, 3 in the morning, and we on the outside. We got
What was the
spears,
conflict
bricks.
though you felt?
Huh?
Though? Did you feel conflict, or did you just like I understand what you're saying. Like even though you're 7 days from the house, you still felt like you had to get busy.
Your loyalty
I
is
had
motherfucker.
to.
But did you have a voice in your head like, man,
No,
you're 7 days
the
from the
voice
house?
in my head said, "This has to be done," because they could have killed us.
And that's the
Came
warrior
through there.
mentality.
And the thing about it is, that's where I was changing, right? And I was changing my life, and I had a pre-release program. They was mad because of we was doing something that had no fucking business, was none of their business, So they was trying to smash on us, but we was looking out for everybody on the motherfucking yard. You know what I'm saying? Making it easy for people. We made it a go home yard. So they got some orders from up here, and the whole penitentiary went off because they was mad at what we was doing. You know what I'm saying? So my whole thing was, this is fucking totally disrespectful, and I've been in situations like that before. You know, I've never been scared to go. You know, it was fucking dangerous. It was knives and spears, and I'm talking about swords and shit, and bricks in the air for about 10 minutes. You going through, so it was a real war, but yeah, it was like, you got to survive, man. You gonna have to survive.
Well, when everything calmed down, how'd you feel?
I felt good because we kicked their ass.
But I mean, on the aspect that when you calmed down and you got like, and you came out the warrior zone, you thought like, man, I'm 7 days from the house. I could have fucked that off. Or did you say, this is what it is?
You know, once you in there, man, you want to come home, and I'm definitely gonna come home, because there's another place where my brother wouldn't let me come out. Me and my brother Zoe was cellies in Pleasant Valley, and Zoe
That's actually cool. Y'all was there, brothers together. That's cool.
It was like good fellas, man. You know, we kicked it. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Zoe.
But that's why I made him get his GED. Zoe had been in there for 5 years. I hadn't seen him. They sent me to Pleasant Valley. We were cellies, and it was.
I know that warmed your heart, even though it's a fucked up situation that you got to see your.
That's something that probably.
And not only just see your brother, you got to be.
And Zoe was running the yard when I got there. So Zoe slapping niggas and.
OG tear talk.
Man, I thought this is healthy, Zoe.
Yeah.
The beast. Zoe knocking out niggas 6'6" and 340 pounds.
Yeah.
Hit you so hard. So it was, but you know, we've always been men. So it's, you know, that was, you know, that's what.
And who's older, you or him?
I'm older.
Oh, okay.
You could talk about this, but you know, really, what's been the core of us is we've always been thinkers and leaders and aspiring to be men. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, those all that shit was school, man. All that shit was school, and
how long was y'all together there as cellmates?
we was there for about 8 months. 8 months, you know.
Now, I've never met the brother actually, but anytime his name has ever came up, the respect level that gets put on his name is just astronomical. You know what I'm saying?
And it's well earned and well deserved.
I mean, I've been around him, but I never actually met him. But anytime over the years his name has came up, the respect level has just always been. You know, because sometimes some cats, their name come up, and some people be like, oh, yeah, they respectful, and then somebody might say some side bus and shit. Never. Yeah. And if they did have some side bus, bitch, they keep that shit to themselves.
I mean, we used to...
Get your lip pop.
We used to fight, man. You know, we come from an era where you fight, you know, and you gain the respect like that.
Because unfortunately, some of you cats, without a pistol, you ain't pushing no lines.
So the gun era came, and you know, that didn't slow down the respect. You know, so everybody adjusts accordingly. You know, but yeah, man, a lot of these guys, you know, I helped a lot of these guys develop into manhood. Man, I helped a lot of guys. I used to tell people, man, if you had snot, like I had one partner, he had snot all in his nose, man, you got to go home. You can't come down here no more around us if you can't keep your nose clean. You know what I'm saying? I read the newspaper every day. I make motherfuckers read the paper. If you can't read this fucking paper, get the fuck up out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
If you're doing some game goofy shit, see, you know, because you know they come tell me,
yeah, violations.
So and so did this.
It's violations.
You got to get your ass, and we might whip your ass. You know, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna get checked. But really, I have big cousins, man, that when I come over, my mama dropped me off to my cousin's house. Them niggas was abusing.
Exactly.
We used to have to stick our chests out like this, man. Boom!
I know.
I still got a damn dent in my chest right here from my cousin.
Hey, what they say in the Bible, iron sharpens iron.
True.
Right.
Dude, I had cousins used to do this shit, right? We used to sit there, same thing, do that, or the niggas just grab you by your ears, by both hands, and pick you up off and your feet off the ground. I used to hate that shit.
or rocks, paper,
Oh,
scissors.
oh,
and
yeah.
if you lose, boom. So we was ready
Toughen you up for the
We was
world.
ready around tough shit, man. We was playing fucking tackle
On the block.
toe to pole.
Smear the
on
quiz.
cement.
Smear the
You know what I'm
quiz.
saying?
And
I
the way
remember
we
one
used to
year-
play
yeah.
Spear the Quiz, if
We
you were
played-
scared of the ball,
Right.
you was
we
getting
played-
speared anyway.
Remember we used to play-
run from it.
Back then, in the 80s, remember we used to play every block versus the block football at Diamond Park.
Right.
We used to love that shit. I mean, we played in the rain one year, and we had too many people on our team, and I forgot who we was playing against. Didn't have enough players, so I played on the other team.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was love, but it was that
It was
shit.
fun.
Yeah, we had fun. Garfield, Roosevelt.
It was a
I
healthy childhood stuff. You know what I'm saying? And like he asked me earlier, what is they missing? You know, grandmamas, man. You know, they ain't got these women. Ain't you know? They not holding to those ethics and those principles of those older women of that you put your weed out and you stop cussing when a lady come out here, man. You know what I'm saying? These niggas, them bitches, excuse my language. These they trying to hang around the kids now. They talking about little so and so, he's a stepper, he's a hitter. Little so and so don't know shit. You know what I'm saying? You doing them, and then he gets smacked.
He don't know how to handle it.
That's because you was telling him it was cool to be a stepper and a hitter. You know what I'm saying? All the steppers and the hitters, what that is in the identification of who should get stepped and who should get hit. Because you a stepper,
You need permission.
you a target. You know what I'm saying? Because you the one that's going to be doing the shit. You know what I'm saying? So but they say real motherfuckers move in silence, man. And this internet then brought out a lot of
Some gazy shit.
And it's also exposed a lot of cats that we always thought was solid, but now they looking kind of funny in this light.
Right.
But to piggyback off what you said, my grandmother, Ms. Lois, she used to be up there on 55th. She literally would walk up to people that we like, ooh, that's so and so. And she'd be like, young man, get yourself together, get your teeth figured, present yourself. And when you talk to them, they'd be like, yes, ma'am, this and that. But we sitting over here looking like, Grandma, you can't, he a killer, and that's so and so.
But they
So grandma like, well, I don't care. That young man gonna be out here. He need to get himself presentable and this, that, and cats will respect
But
it.
you know what'd be funny when them tough ass niggas be like, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
That's
But
etiquette.
they're looking at us like, you
That's-
better not laugh.
You better not laugh.
But
You
that
better
was
disrespect
morals
the
and etiquette and the principles that we was taught.
But some of these
Like I
cats
said,
out here now,
they don't have-
grandma can't.
'cause
In
it got
fact, if
lost.
a grandma stand over there, I found myself the other day. I was
Motherfuckers
over
won't
at
get
Food
out of their
King.
seat for a woman.
I was at
And that's
Food King, and I
just
had to tell
hella
this youngster,
disrespectful.
hey man, you see the ladies right here, this and that. Oh, my bad, OG. Because he was like, he was going in, and I was like, come on. And they was looking, but they didn't want to say nothing. And I was like, come on, bro, you see? He's like, oh, my bad, OG. And I was sitting there like, in my day, I would have tapered. I would have.
Right.
I
we
would
was taught that.
when I was a youngster, I would have automatically tapered my conversation seeing these older
Let me
ladies.
tell you, if we had an aggressive line of big motherfuckers like us, I'm talking about throughout the city, man, we trip out here anything, and we had some motherfuckers that still was
Etiquette
with
and
shit,
stealing.
and you know, them youngsters wouldn't disrespect that, you know what I'm saying? But we'd have to have some form too,
Right.
You know, we had to have some order. But hey, look at Chicago.
Oh man,
The
they so out
youngsters
of
took
line
over.
over there.
You know what I'm saying? And it's
100 shootings
they don't
over the
have nothing to
weekends. And
lose.
this,
We have something to lose. They don't have anything to lose. They don't know no better.
Right. We all, in essence, we all have something to lose, but you got to realize that you
'Cause we all in it
do
together.
have something to lose.
Yeah, but when I was
And
in that
the
age,
vision, I know the heartache. Because remember, I was in
You was there too.
got kicked out of class, and you was like, well, this is what I'm doing. Oh well, and because you knew. But sometimes you chose to do bullshit. You choose to do wrong. A lot of times,
true, man. When I was
but
in my 20s
if
and my
you
late
have-
teens, the bullshit, the older niggas that was in the bullshit was more exciting and intriguing to me than the niggas that was doing right.
Because them
So
niggas
that's
that
what I
used to get the finger
gravitated
chicks
towards.
in the 6th and 7th grade.
Right.
They're talking about coming in there and smell my finger.
And all the
you
bras
want to
that
be
I
like
want,
them.
and all the bras, and all the young girls I wanted to fool with, they gravitated to them niggas. So I wanted to be.
You want to be the cool
I
kid.
wanted to be like them niggas, and I got caught up in a lot of shit
Exactly. You wanted to beeper and some
I'm looking back, a
motherfucking
person who
Nike
had my
Cortez.
actual upbringing and family and stuff shouldn't have never been involved in.
Right.
Yeah, I used to think niggas was hecka cool with the fish net hats and the tango and the sniper hat
And the derbies and all that, man. You was just man.
The World Cup surfers and the 501s.
Yeah.
You know, I was just like, oh man, I actually, when you said it's a choice, I chose. I said I want to be a thug. I remember when I didn't go to class, and I got this. We had robbed this exchange student. I was with the Deanza High, and we had took the exchange student's indica weed. It was some back then. It was skunk. So we took the skunk, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, either I go to this history class, which is I'm doing bad, but I'm not doing that bad. If I go to the class today, I could change the shit today, and or I'm gonna go further in the hole. So I decided right there, and then I was playing basketball. You know what I'm saying? They said they're not gonna let me play basketball.
Great.
And
I
either,
know.
Chris, you gonna smoke this weed, or you gonna go to that class, man. And I
And you had the
It's
choice.
the duality
I
of
had
the
a choice.
situation.
I remember this was in 1984 at Deanza High in Richmond. And I fucking chose to smoke that motherfucking weed. Excuse my language.
No, you can cuss
I
on
feel
here.
like God.
Bruh, this is free form. We fuck, Phil. We say what we want here.
I had to forgive myself to change when my life changed. For that situation, when I made that decision, I had to fucking forgive myself. That was the stupidest shit that I ever did.
Because that was probably a gateway to many years of going
Life
this
prison,
direction.
Jail, homelessness, drug addiction, all kind of shit.
The blessing in that though is having opportunity to reflect and, like you said, hold yourself accountable
And have
The
that
thing-
self-awareness.
Exactly, because remember, Pharaoh, we talked this many a times, and I'm a heavy supporter of this
add on
society.
something to what
I
you're
know you
saying.
is society is a whole, and I'm making this a blanket statement. There are no absolutes, but society as a whole, in general, don't hold themselves personally accountable for their decisions. People only hold themselves accountable on a surface level, because when you really start being like, damn, I fucked up, you judging yourself. You're supposed to judge yourself. Fuck what everybody else's opinion is.
Right.
You judge yourself, but really have that real conversation with yourself. And like you said, hold yourself accountable. Call yourself out on your own bullshit.
Right.
Because that's the only way you get real, true growth. And when you experience the light within and understand who you are and why you chose
about
to.
the flip side.
Yeah, I know. But why you chose to come back here in the first place, because you'll get that at 3 a.m. You know.
Right.
But
It's a
when you
beautiful
get
thing.
that, it's lovely.
Yeah.
But to even have the sensibility to acknowledge that is beautiful also. A lot of people are so pre-wired
I
and so
freed
many
myself.
distractions with this bullshit living in the matrix that they don't
Trying to
perceive
impress
that.
A lot of you see a lot. What I see, we growing up in the sound. A lot of people got killed because of jealousy. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people try to impress people that really don't give a fuck about.
Nobody gives a fuck
And so
about
when
you.
I became free, when I was honest with myself and stopped lying to myself. You know what I'm saying? Telling me I'm the hardest nigga in the world and shit. I wasn't. I was so sad when I went to prison.
It's accountability. Just be honest with yourself.
Yeah, you be honest, this ain't it. Ain't no pussy, excuse my language, you know what I'm saying?
Once again, you can say what you say.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
gotta excuse yourself.
And this is just not my cup of tea. This is, if I got to do this
I'ma add
to
something
prove
to
myself that I'm hard, then so I have to be honest with myself. And once I was honest with myself, I was free. I'm free. Motherfuckers say, Big C, you ain't got millions like you sold dope for all these, but you ain't got. I don't give a fuck, nigga. I'm alive.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
You understand what the
I'm
real
gonna
treasure is.
add something
Go
to
ahead,
that.
P.
My brother right now is facing is facing the 3 strikes based off some shit that he got into it in the Tenderloin. And this is actually his 3rd time facing 3 strikes. There's the 2 other cases that he caught. He beat on the technicality, witnesses didn't show up. But the thing is, though, is that my brother has probably, since the age of 16, hasn't done a solid year on the streets. He's always either violation or something. Like first, when he's 16, he went to YA, and they cut him loose at 18. Then he went to county. He that that path. Then he went to the pen, and he literally, the only time he ever has discharged off of parole, he was in Santa Rita when he discharged. Like, even when he discharged, like he finally discharged off parole, he was in custody fighting the case. Yes. And so the last 10 years, he's been over in the Tenderloin, right? And since that, and I go certain periods of time. But now he done beat. But my brother can sit here and say, like you said, oh man, I made the wrong decision on this. And he can articulate everything. Oh man, I understand that there was an inner problem with me. All that, the inner me. He can articulate all that, but then he never actually takes. So every time he gets out, he has this beautiful, I see what's happening, I see what's going on with my life, and everybody get pumped like,
you got to fix it.
But he never takes that actual step to take the actual action. And now he got into it with somebody over in the TLs. Dude pulled out a knife. My brother's a massive dude. He pulled out the knife. My brother took the knife from me and shanked him. And when the police rolled up,
he had the knife. And
now they on the attempted murder. Last time he got an attempted murder case, nobody showed up. And he just did a year on the violation. But now dude been coming to court, so it looked like they finna wash him. Well, and all I can think about is he's 50 years old, and like I said, he's 50 years old, and he's literally never not been in he's never not been on the street since 16 for more than a year. He's never made a full year.
Behavior at 15, 16.
Yeah.
And he's 50 now.
Yeah. Just turned 50.
With me, because I went through the same thing, it was a conditioning of I'm conditioned to do this, and I want to do better.
But every time he touched down, it's I'm gonna do this, and that, and everybody be like, yeah.
And then he had support, right? He had support. He had some love. He had some support. You know what I'm saying?
I cut him off about maybe 2 years ago because I was like, I can't go down the range. I can't go down. I can't keep going down the range. Because every time he do the time, I'm doing it with him. Boxes. Well, I used to send the boxes. Now, I order this shit on the internet, and sometimes he get other niggas lists that ain't got no family, so I'm giving, what I'm saying, I'm doing. But I mean, every time he do the time, I feel like I'm doing it with him.
Choice?
Coke. Always Coke.
So, he
since the 80s, so always Coke.
Shout out to Pops, Spooder Dad, Lord, Mr. Hamilton, how you doing, bro?
Man, the crack addiction was why he kept going to prison. Because other than that, he could sit down at home and chill out and smoke some weed or something. But with the crack, you got to get out of there and move around and do all kinds of shit to get the shit.
Every time he touches down, it's always the...
And then the mentality it puts you in.
Yeah. But every time he touches down, it's always... I see what's going on in my life. I see the things. I see the trick. I mean, he always say the right things.
But I hear what you're saying. So, and my role is devil's advocate. And just to thinking, I hear what you're saying. So
sometimes I cry over this shit. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I be
it's
sitting
emotional
home like, man. Especially since I be like, it's a possibility that he ain't gonna never come back out that motherfucker. Even though I hadn't seen him a couple years before he even got caught up in this situation. I be like, man, I'm realistically never gonna see this dude in
my
up
uncle
close.
used drugs since the 70s. Richard Pryor got burned out, and my uncle he got beat in the head with a parking meter. So he was fucked up. He couldn't walk, and he was smoking and shit. He told me one day, he said, "Man, I'm tired of doing this shit." Uncle's about 57, 58, and he stopped. And start getting his motherfucking money.
It takes, what I was going to say is, I agree, that's a beautiful story. I think the isolation, once again, you got that, you in jail. You in, and jail,
shit, like
I'm not saying just...
all kinds of shit, but then I'll be like, no,
I'm just not saying bars, behind bars on this. But jail could be any mental disability as far as your freedom. When I say it, I'm using it in that terms.
I dig.
But also speaking on being incarcerated, you have the time being isolated from so much of everything else is going on, that's a lot of time where these brothers have time to reflect and think of, oh man, I need to do better. I want to do better. I got to do better. A lot of times that happens.
Cell, you only got yourself to talk to.
Right.
And you're not on drugs. You're clean. So your mind.
You have that.
Well, see, I don't understand this because my mother was on heroin. You know what I'm saying? My mother was a heroin addict. You know?
I got you. Right? So you have that time to do that self-reflection. Now, you out amongst the free-flowing traffic. All them distractions that you didn't have are now on you. Now, the thing, like you said, you had an uncle who decided, I'm done, I'm tired of this. He built himself up to say, fuck all those distractions. Because when I say, like I said, prison ain't just jail. Prison is mental. It can be drugs, it can be sex addiction, whatever the fuck it is.
Exactly.
The mental aspect that, right. Once you get over that hump and really dig deep, ask yourself them questions and go deeper, go past the surface and really hold yourself accountable to your choices and understand who you are. Once you really understand what your vices
You're
are.
honest with yourself.
Thank you.
You want to stop.
Well, that's self-honesty. Because my mother came home in 83 from
Accountability.
Chowchilla. My mother did like 4 years in Chowchilla. And she came home from Chowchilla and said she wasn't going to never use again. And that was like 1983. And she actually never did. Now, this relationship with us, though, was so damaged because by 83, I was already a teen.
Right.
So the relationship with us was ruined, and it never really got rebuilt. But she died in 2012, but from 83 to 2012, she never used again. So I understand she came home used, but most people, when they come home and they not finna do certain things, within 6 months or so, they back in that groove. And then my sibling,
Right.
like I said, he ain't never went 6 months clean.
Let me tell you this,
know?
man. What you need to understand is there's been a lot of studies on addiction.
I know it's a brutal thing.
It's a disease. And when you can't understand it, you don't understand why this nigga. I can just have a drink and be cool. Why this nigga gotta have a drink, go get some cocaine, fuck up everything, spend all his money, and get kicked out of his wife's house? You know why? But you can function. He can't. Even me.
But due to my mother, though, I've always been terrified of something hard.
Right.
Like, I have a drink.
Yeah,
But if a nigga ever came with
weed.
if somebody ever came with anything stronger than
other
that,
than
I always
weed.
been like, because my mother was strung out, I always was been like, huh.
I
Yeah,
can attest to
it's
that.
been some pimps that snort powder and always snorted powder, but they knew how to handle it.
Yeah, they functional. They'll tell you, I got the habit. The habit don't got me.
Drug addict.
And I've been like, but I've always been terrified to go anything past this.
Because it's dangerous, man. You know what I'm saying?
I can completely.
In fact, I don't even go
100%
too
agree
far
with
on
you.
this.
I mean, what do
I
like
get
right
tipsy,
now,
but
who's the fucking pharmacist that's putting this shit together? You know what I'm saying? Right now, the drugs is not even what they advertise it to be.
If it ain't out the ground, I don't need it.
Fentanyl and all this shit.
because
So
the Norcos and the
nothing.
Percocets, man,
I
they
don't do
pull
none of
up
that.
like it's a crack spot.
psychotropic drugs and all these pills is gonna get you. It's gonna
Extra fucked up.
You wonder why mental health issues is high right now. You go outside and just pay attention. Count how many crazy motherfuckers you see from here to the Big Arthur Freeway.
Or even supposedly
You know what I'm saying?
functional motherfuckers with a job, but always be like, well, I'm depressed, I'm bipolar,
Yeah,
this and that,
even
this and that. But they functioning with a job.
Unhappy.
But they all, you know.
Depressing.
I look at it as like, say you got a fiber stream, right? You got a fiber cable going to the brain. You got all these channels. This is just to break it down in layman's term. You got it. Your brain is the computer. You got that fiber optic cable going to the brain. You got all these channels going at the same time. HBO, Cinemax, YouTube,
All these different influences.
all exactly going at the same time. Clouding the mind. You add this other fiber optic cable to it, fusion splice it. I'm a splicer, so I do this shit for real. But that adds a whole nother element. What happens is that spark, that high, whatever you want to call it, that you got from that drug or whatever. And I personally, I tell you, I've never done nothing stronger than weed. I smoke weed, I smoke cigars, and I buy expensive alcohol. I'm a nigga that's in the class where that's my shit. But to your point, I've had family members and whatnot that I've seen the drugs, and I was out there handing out the shit, and I witnessed the shit destroy families and my friends, and I'm guilty of some shit from
That's
back in
always
the
been a
days.
contradiction of mine. I wouldn't fuck with drugs because my mother was a drug addict, but I've sold plenty of
Let me
drugs.
tell you, man, when I was
That
14,
shit, I will
15,
never.
When I was 14, 15, I was all the way gone. I was smoking hella coke, and I used to be fucked up. And niggas was looking for me to kill me, so I had to come up out of that. I came in the game and fuck with the old niggas.
And they used to get off pay.
And we used to smoke Grammys, you know what I'm saying?
Weed and coke.
So,
For you niggas that don't know, you young niggas, Grammy is weed and coke.
So we used to.
And when Grammys first
So-
hit,
And they smell funny.
when Grammys first hit, the most respectable niggas
as a
was
youngster,
smoking them.
as a youngster,
I know.
I was hella violent. I was hella dangerous. I didn't have to
Before
go
the
steal
Grammys
for it
or
because
at the Grammys?
I'm talking about during that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because you had to do hella crime.
Yeah.
We were selling drugs. I had to have a pistol because I was a youngster and they was trying to rob me. They knocked my tooth out. BGF niggas jumped out the car 4 deep and hit me with a 357, knocked my tooth out when I was 13. Then I was serving a motherfucker at Booker's store and in the parking lot, and this motherfucker hit me with a meat cleaver in my eye and almost opened my shit up. Almost lost my eye, and used to get dragged and it's just all kind of shit. But I was hanging out. I didn't have to. I ran away from home and was hanging out with older people who was doing it. Too Short was rapping about it, and everybody was doing it actually. So I ended up getting caught up until I was like 17. You know, and at 17, I had an incident. Me and my cousin got into it. Hit me in the jaw with a hammer, like, you know what I'm saying? Broke my jaw, and he could never whoop me, and he had whooped me. You know what I'm saying? So I was like,
Due to the hammer.
yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, I quit. And so I was 17, and after that, that's when I started 25th. I started, but I still was grinding while I was smoking. You know what I'm saying? But I was nigga would disappear at night. You grind all day, disappear, and smoke up all the shit all night.
And a lot of you youngsters probably can't understand the Grammy culture, but you got to understand
Grammys is equivalent to these niggas off
if
lean.
you was of that age, the most popular niggas were smoking Grammys, and if they pass it to you, you'll be a sucker to not take it.
Grammys was equivalent to back then. Grammys was the niggas with money smoke Grammys.
Exactly, the most popular niggas, and you want to be amongst that ilk.
Yeah, you're right.
So the players smoking.
It was because cocaine was a rich man's drug,
right? So
to indulge in,
and it cost a lot to smoke that shit.
Right, it was a rich man's drug.
Because when you was a little kid, the niggas had the gold spoons.
I sell $1,000 worth of dope every day, and then I smoke up like about 200-300 a night. You know what I'm saying? So I was a kid though. You know what I'm saying? I had a pistol in my back pocket. I didn't look like I didn't look. No, I was.
Nobody was fucking with you.
I know. Actually running the spot.
I said nobody was fucking with you.
Rock spot up the street.
Yeah.
I
was right around the corner.
all his 50s. So it was, I got into it kind of. I was hella bad though, man. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all was hard.
So
it
not
wasn't
only
bad.
that,
y'all was hard. Y'all was not to be fucked with.
It was
a
a time when we drank like 15, 40 ounces and took 7 mescaline tabs a piece. And we was selling dope.
Mind open.
Yeah, we was selling dope in our drawers with AR-15s and M1 carbine. And the police rolled past and shined a light on the building. We standing in our drawers with them long guns, and the motherfuckers drove off.
I know. I know the stories. I'm from the hood.
So,
it wasn't worth it.
So a lot of people
I know those stories.
One thing, when I did stop, it was a blessing because I thought I was gonna be gone for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? And when I stopped, I never used drugs again.
Now let me ask you a question. For a lot of cats that's been down the road, you've been down them long stretches in the penitentiary, being out there, having to do what you have to do. what was the effect on like your children and stuff like that? Was you able to connect with them, or was they on? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I fucked up, man. You know what I'm saying? I had some. You know,
were you able to
and that's
reconnect
what's
with
wrong
them
with the
as
kids.
once you were clear?
No, we're good now. You know what I'm saying?
That's beautiful.
My daughters, we good. One of them, you know, my other daughter, you know, it needs to be a lot better. But I'm trying. She just ain't. You know, that's what I created. So it was messed up, man. You know, I lost a child. My daughter, we just repairing. My daughter Courtney, she in Vegas. We just repairing our relationship in my older years. And my son, I got an 8-year-old son though. But so I was able to do mistakes that I made when I was younger.
A chance to do it.
I don't make those mistakes with him. I'm hands-on with him. You know
and the reason why I ask you that is I find one of the common things with a lot of my partners that's now coming home from things that happened in their 20s and they doing them 20, 25 year stretches is that they all having a real difficult time connecting with some of their children. Like even the ones they think is cool that they was in contact with, there'll be moments when you wasn't there or whoop-de-whoop. So, and that's one thing for a lot of you youngsters out there that y'all probably got your little small children right now because you're in your early 20s. But if you go away for 20 years, when you come home, them children are going to be adults, and many of them are going to have some level of resentment or awkwardness towards you. And so when you're out there making those decisions, think about not just yourself, but how it's going to affect your whole family, your children, your mother, you know what I'm saying? You know, the people that, you know, love you.
Yeah, that's one thing I regret not have, you know, because I think that my daughter would have had a much better life if I would have been in her life. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. And, you know, our children are a reflection of us, and they help us in our development too. So I probably would have, if I would have stayed in there, I probably would have grew up a lot faster. You know what I'm saying? But I thought I just let her mom go ahead and do what she wanted to do. You know, I didn't step in and take charge. You know, so I regret that. But yeah, it's, you know, we made a lot of mistakes, and in changing, you know, I talk about these hard times and the crazy times in an animated way, right? And it was fun back then in my mind state, but it was very traumatizing, and it was very painful, and I had to forgive myself before I, you know,
in order to move forward.
To move forward, I had to forgive myself, and I had to keep reminding myself that I forgave myself. I asked God to forgive me.
Because regrets and stuff like that can really hinder you.
Yeah, because
you ain't got no time machine. That's I got to tell a lot of my young partners that be like, well, what am I do with this and that? And be like, you ain't got no time machine. You can't change nothing that happened in 2006, but you can change what happens from today forward.
And the thing about that is, right now I work for Google, right? And I got my record expunged, and I do a lot of good work in the community and stuff. You know, I got my podcast, I write. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know I could write and shit. I just started writing and shit. They said, Chris, you can write. So I started writing some shit, man. So it's a lot of, if I would have did that stuff when I was young, man, I probably would have a fucking piece of
you could be
the coast.
Tyler Perry without the fake wigs.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
It's to piggyback off what you're saying, the shit we went through and did, and like I said, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to give it a spotlight as glorifying it, but I will, like you said, I had fun like a motherfucker on some levels in my adolescent days. I did. And no, I'm not right for some of the shit I did, but I've held myself accountable for the shit. But I have to be honest, and I'm honest enough to say that, damn, I lived.
You can't hold yourself to it.
I experienced some shit that motherfuckers will never experience, or they gonna lie about and say they experience. And I can keep it a buck and say
I'm lying.
Right. And I ain't got it. I'm not the people that know me that know that know.
Person in the world.
I'm a cool ass nigga, and I do what I do.
But that regrets and shit like that.
I got some shit that I was like,
you can put yourself in mentally. Oh, I wish I did. And a lot of cats be so unable to function to go forward because they still
stuck.
They ain't forgave themselves. Like you gotta forgive yourself and move forward.
You got to.
Yeah.
One of the coldest decisions I had to make was in the 7th grade. I was at graduated Garfield 6th grade, dealing with, families on drugs and whatnot. So I didn't go to Roosevelt 7th grade year. I got moved to the East Coast.
What part?
Delaware.
Damn.
With my uncle.
It's like country out there. Huh?
It's a different world. And I've
But
spoken on the
bottom
show.
Hardcore out
But
there.
the
Some
part,
places.
but,
different.
but
So-
the bottom part of
but
Delaware
my uncle-
borders Philadelphia.
Yeah, I know. That's like
So
Camden
It's
and
two
all
different
that
breeds.
shit.
Yeah, it's two different breeds.
So I sat there and moved out there. It's a different school system, but that experience was lovely. Now the thing was, while I was out there, my whole mindset was I need to get back to Oakland. I want to be with my mom. That was my mom. I was 12 years old. And the decision was made that you can stay out here, enrich life. And I'm not, my uncle was the president of North and South America for DuPont at the time. And doing big shit. Oh, yeah.
Money.
Yeah. And I'm out there in school doing good shit, experiencing all type of shit. But
And
I was,
had this too.
Duck didn't go there. Duck knows the shit. But he didn't go.
Okay.
I went. So I came back though. The thing was, they left the decision up to me.
Okay.
So 8th grade, I came back to the town
So they should have made the
and
decision for you.
went to Roosevelt. And they told me, we left that decision up to you. Now, don't get me wrong. The experience I've experienced in life have made me who I am. So I don't regret it. But there, at one time, I used to be like, damn, what if I would have said, let me just do this? Where would I be?
Up until
And I
about the
can't-
age of 35, every decision I ever made was the wrong decision.
But I look at that decision, even through the disappointments and whatnot, but where I am now, and I'm like,
It all worked out in the end.
scars build character.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna tell you, man. My belief, my spirituality's belief is, struggle and toil is a prescription for you. You know what I'm saying? It
You gotta
makes
go through it to get through
It makes you better.
It
You know
reveals
what I'm
who you
saying?
really are.
So God knows everything, and the creator of the universe knows. So, just think about the struggles that the people that came before us. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be some struggles. How you respond and how you what you learn from those struggles. That's what makes you either a hero or a zero.
Yeah, them choices. Now, what's
You be
next for you, Big C?
on the street.
What's next for you?
what's-
Books? We got
so
books. We got movies. What's
Like
next?
I got. I'm writing a book. The book I'm writing is about the '70s, about before the crack. It go from the '70s and it come up to the modern days. It's called Family.
True story or fiction?
It's a story based on fiction. It's nonfiction based on fiction based on nonfiction, right? It's based on what actually happened during the '70s and the '80s with the crack, and we thought that we was gonna be the shit when that crack came, but we ended up being messed up. You know what I'm saying? So we're just gonna talk about that. That's what I'm gonna talk about. I think I got expertise at that. And also with Town Vision, we want to keep promoting what's bright and what's good in the hood, and we want to use that format, and we want to use this to connect and with all our resources together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We want to make a network. You know what I'm saying?
And speaking on that, that's why when I reached you, I was like, cuzzo, I loved it. I told Tiff, and Tiff, y'all know Tiff. Tiff is our official third co-host, Tiffology.
And she fucked with us too.
I know that.
You know, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. The funny thing about Tiff.
And here she comes.
You ever play
And
that
she
game,
she was
6
like,
Degrees
I'm
of
feeling you right,
Separation?
Yeah.
And the thing about
If a
it,
person really from here, they ain't no more. If a person really from the Bay, some kind of way they
Y'all
gonna
know
know.
us.
Tiff is like, I can always tell her,
But-
she like at the center of the Bay because everybody is connected some
But-
kind of way to
right.
her.
And here's the thing, though.
Even
I
if we don't
hit-
know each other, but we
I
all know
hit
her.
you before. I was like, cuzzo, I'm gonna love to have you on the podcast. And he hit me right back like, fam, it's good. Let me know when. And I was like, okay. And shit just be busy. And I was like, and me and Tip was sitting there, and I was like, Tip, I need Cuzzo on the podcast. And because I thought about it again, because, you know, we all get busy. She was like, oh, she just bloop, 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 bloop. And hit her back like, what's up? You called like, ooh. I was like, Cuzzo, what's good? And boom, that's family. It's murder. You know what I'm saying? Town biz. That's real recognized real.
Tiff be trying to downplay it, but trust me, she the most connected woman in Oakland.
Hey, now, for real though, you know, Tiff.
Yeah, we gotta look out for each other.
Exactly.
Tiff know everybody.
I'm about networking.
From squares to goons to everybody. Everybody know Tiff.
I love networking, uplifting us. That's what this shit is about, you know. And because that, like you said, when you dig in and understand who you are,
you know your job,
your essence, exactly your purpose.
What'd you say? That's self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
You gotta what they say in some of those religions, knowledge of self.
Knowledge of
you
self.
You gotta
is
know
what
who
it is.
you are.
So do you know about the planets that aligned and we went out of the age of Aquarius into Leo, right? And it's been a reset, a universal reset. So, you know, we taking advantage of that, man. We're going to reset our community.
I hear
Put
about
them
a lot
crystals
about that,
out,
but
let
how
them
real is
gaze
that?
under the moon. Yeah, that's some shit you'll get at the
It's
real.
just like, I hear about it, but
before we had all these lights, before we had all this technology, they used to watch them stars, man.
I stargaze.
You know what I'm saying?
To this day.
in fact, they navigate the ocean by the
stargaze.
stars. I know that.
Just
Sit out there and
above
get that.
is below. So we have to look at these signs, just like, you know, when Mars in certain position, you know certain things
might as
happen.
well come
or
in.
when you know,
Wait,
But
but
come
I'm
on,
sorry.
Come
Tati,
say hi.
say hey, Tati. Real
How
coming
y'all
in.
doing? How y'all
It's
doing?
Tati.
Good evening. Good
Y'all-
evening.
Tati's been a
But the
guest.
brother was making a good
How
point.
you doing?
I'm
Apologize.
All right.
I
Thank you.
apologize.
No, it's all good. I mean, we talk about the universe and the sun walking in.
Yeah, you know what? I was listening to y'all for a minute. You a rapper? You were in the
I'm an
group?
old school rapper.
Yeah, I
next
heard
to
y'all
you.
as I was driving. I was
seen
tuning in
you
for a
tuned
minute.
in.
I was
Yeah.
tuning in.
Yeah.
So yeah, nice to meet you. I'm Tatiana.
Nice
Yeah.
to meet you too.
Yeah.
Check out Tati,
Not bad.
All Above
Everything in
podcast.
Above.
Everything in
Yes,
Above
thank you.
podcast. Coming up. She's
Coming
shooting
right up.
tonight. After this.
Tune in, Tatiana Nicole. Follow me on Instagram, 11.
follow
I'm sorry, I
Tati.
didn't mean to interrupt. I
No, you
hear
good.
y'all kings, y'all
We
doing your
promoting.
thing, sipping in y'all cognac and
That's what we
shit.
Hey,
do.
where's Sam? What's the dude on the
Shout out
Apollo
to
that come with the
I
hood?
missed you last
Yeah,
night.
Sam man.
I
What's
came
Sam
over to see
man?
you
I
last
didn't.
night.
Yeah, what's Sam man at?
I was there. I saw your mine.
Yeah, where's Sam man
I
at?
up with your minds. Yeah,
You
I
know
didn't
where he
see
was
you.
at?
I was in the
where he
front.
was at.
Yeah, I
He
was
was
in the
up front with the VIP.
I see the VIP. Yeah, I'm sorry. I see the
See,
VIP. I was
that's okay.
VIP. I was in the front last
See,
night.
they had two levels. They had the upfront level
And
VIPs, and
I
then they had the
was-
peasants. And now I was
I'm
back
Back.
there.
I
I'm
was
sorry.
in the back with you.
I'm sorry.
I saw you.
I live on my level. I was in the front, the very fucking front.
Yeah, so
But that's interesting.
So
But
you
you
was
were
talking
making.
about do I believe in that? I believe that everything in this universe affects. We all affected by the same thing. You know?
So it's all in. It's
It's
not chaos. It's
even
it's
us.
immunity.
It's the organized thing. I believe it's intelligence out here, man. Because without chaos, without order, there would be chaos.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
Sometimes
we're able
you
to
need
float in
chaos
this
to get back to
in this
order.
situation that we're in on this big old rock. So we take shit for granted just because we know that this rock ain't gonna fall down. But it's gonna stay where it's at.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's some kind of it's something. We just can't dismiss it. You know?
No, wait. Yeah, but
Yeah,
wait.
but
2
the-
You got my
minutes.
number so you can make the call.
Yeah,
We're
but,
gonna stop getting interrupted from the side.
yeah, but also, you know, I'm a Muslim.
Yeah.
I'm a struggling Muslim. I struggle with my
we
deen.
are not
But you know, the core of Islam and the pillars is Tawheed, which is oneness of Allah, dude. And when I when I give reverence, when I go into my meditation, which is my prayer, salat, and I every time I come out that prayer, man, it's the feeling is indescribable, and that prayer is what changed me from the crazy motherfucker that I used to be.
I know them.
You know what I'm saying?
I
So
know.
it
the
has to
story.
work.
I know
it
the
worked
history.
on me.
I know the history.
You know what
So
I'm
you're saying
saying?
you are
Anybody
the
can
proof.
change.
I'm the proof, man.
Yeah.
I'm the proof.
The
man.
living stone.
I'm the stone cold proof, man.
Living stone.
You know.
So before we head out, because I know we went over, but that's what we do sometimes.
Shit,
Once
some heavy game being
that's
spit.
exactly.
So,
Yeah,
you
sometimes
know,
it's hard. Like I said, it's free flowing conversation. Our shit's never scripted. Y'all know that. Watch, y'all know. We talk and we go. So once again, before we roll out, tell the people where they can find you.
Amir Hassan on Facebook. Go ahead.
Amir Hassan on Facebook. Town Vision
Townvision.com.
podcast, and I've watched. And I just want to say something. So it's in our community. Just real quick, it's so like you said, we don't promote, we don't do shit with each other. My man has another podcast. I'm on here with him talking about his podcast. Tati, I've had her on her podcast.
And we're gonna invite
we
you
do
to
that.
talk to us.
I'm with that because when we talked, we said let's do it. I'm with that. That's what it's about.
You're doing, we want to support.
Networking. I'm into multiple streams of income. I am a resourceful nigga.
Yes, sir.
Nubian, intelligent guy, gifted African. That's
what we learned back in the day, right?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? I'm
hustle hard.
I'm leveled up. So
man, what they say, you sleep in the hustle hard and sleep in the park.
There you go.
Right.
So
sleep is the cousin of death.
Exactly. and to everybody that's tuned in, Brother Rayford, Cuzzo Mac, my little brother Duck was watching, Cuzzo Trina, Mr. Hamilton, Lisa Finney.
Hey, what's up, Lisa?
Kat was watching, Phil. Sunshine was watching. Let me see. I'm trying to go through quick. I'm gonna hit y'all.
You supposed to been there
Rob,
last night.
Tim Duncan, Kenneth Ware. Hey, Ken, your cousin Kenneth. I was gonna get to your comment, but we was going. Joey Norris, Scoob, Sean Smith, Brother Abernathy. Everybody was tuning in, man. I appreciate it. It's a Friday. You could have been doing anything in the world, but you choose to fuck with me tonight, and I appreciate that. One love, all good. So one light. Each one teach one.
As above,
so below.
So below.
Pharaoh, tell them where they can find you.
Hey, you can find me on Pharaoh Films, and that's across the board on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and all that. I want to give a special shout out to everybody that came through last night and supported Vampire in Oakland. Even though, in the words of JR, the Minister of Information, how y'all gonna do Vampire? How y'all gonna do Vampire in Oakland in Pleasanton? But hey, shout out to the 300. But shout out to the 300 some people from the town that made the drive out to Pleasanton to support. And I appreciate y'all. And we're just gonna try to put together a director's cut and do a screening in the town for y'all.
Thank you for tuning in. And I appreciate y'all as usual. My usual when I say now it's time to say goodbye
to all my Negro friends.
Hey man, tune in next week. I got some more shit popping for y'all, man.
Peace and blessings.
Love and light. Peace and blessings, man.
For sure.
Each one
Peace
teach
out.
one.